Dim, dam, dadilam, vacarme, s'en va dans l'oubli éternel.
I love video games, but recently it's felt like most releases are fueled by corporate greed and are primarily designed to drain our bank accounts with copious amounts of microtransactions. But what happens when a development studio makes a great game just because they had an idea? Just because they wanted to make something cool, a game that they themselves would want to play? Well, when that happens, it would seem we get Clair Obscur Expedition 33, a game that is bursting at the seams with passion and style, where every element feels like it has purpose, and that purpose is to create a fun and engaging experience for gamers of all types. An experience that I will be thinking about for years to come. An experience that will be the new gold standard for turn-based RPGs. Yes, you heard me right. It's a turn-based RPG, and I know just by saying that I've already lost some of you, but hear me out. This isn't your grandpa's turn-based RPG. The combat is much more engaging than that, due in no small part to the dodge and parry mechanics. When it's your opponent's turn, that doesn't mean you can put the controller down. No. Every enemy attack in the game can be dodged and or parried if you nail the timing. And while the timing window is extremely small, the satisfaction of laying a perfect parry on an enemy's multi-part combo is undeniable. Once you get used to it, you'll feel invincible, even against much higher level enemies. And that's where the combat really shines. If you're able to parry every move, you'll retaliate with an impressive counterattack, which will often deal much more damage than just attacking the enemy directly. It's this level of active combat that makes the turn-based RPG into something so much more engaging. Also, each member of your party comes with unique abilities that may take a little getting used to, but once you master them, the damage you can dish out will be devastating. Take Lune's elemental stains, for example. Each special attack applies certain stains to Lune, and using other attacks can consume those stains to increase your damage. So, by alternating between various elements, your attacks can get a substantial boost. I'll admit, it took me a while to fully understand some of the character's abilities, and I went most of my playthrough without utilizing them to their full potential. But once you get to the end game, mastering these mechanics can be the difference between victory and defeat. But the depth doesn't stop there. You also have passive abilities, which come in the form of Pictos and Lumines. A Picto gives a passive bonus plus a stat boost. Then after 4 battles with a Picto equipped, it's turned into a Lumina and can be equipped to any character. If equipped as Lumina, you lose the stat boost but keep the passive. I know it sounds a little confusing, and it can be at first, but once you get used to it, the potential is endless. With the correct combination of Pictos and Luminas, you can create a build that is insanely powerful. In my playthrough, I one-shot the final boss. I had Mael hitting for millions of damage with a single attack, which is extremely fun to pull off. Now don't worry, I won't be giving any story spoilers, and all the footage in this video is from the early game. But what I will say is this, the story is one of the best I've ever experienced in any video game. The prologue had me crying, and most of the reveals left me speechless. This is the kind of story that will sit with you long after the credits roll. Maybe I'll do another video in the future discussing the story in greater detail, but for now, just know that this story alone is enough for me to recommend you play this game. It's something everyone needs to experience for themselves. Oh, and the voice acting. Don't get me started on the voice acting. They were able to get some top-tier voice actors for this game, and it shows. Every interaction and cutscene was made that much more powerful due to their fantastic performances. Speaking of characters, each character in this game feels alive, like they could step right out of the screen and into the real world. Their dialogue doesn't feel scripted or stiff. It flows naturally, like how real people actually speak. They laugh, struggle, grow, and react in ways that make them feel fully realized. Their personalities shine through in every interaction, and it didn't take long before I found myself genuinely caring by each and every one of them. Whether it was a quiet moment of reflection or a heated exchange in the middle of battle, I was completely invested. These aren't just characters, they feel like people I've come to know and love. Okay, we've covered the combat, the story, and the characters. What else does Expedition 33 have to offer? Well, it has an overworld for one, and that revelation really caught me off guard. I expected to get taken from location to location, like some games do, but no, you have to actually traverse the world map yourself, and there are tons of optional locations scattered across the map. Some of them may just contain an item, but others have full areas with difficult boss fights at the end. Some of the most challenging bosses in the game are contained within these areas, which is great for people who crave that little extra challenge, or who like exploring the map to find every hidden secret. And if you want to take a break from the comment, I highly recommend you check out the Gestural Beaches, especially if you enjoy a good platforming challenge. I've put around 35 hours into the game, but there's at least 60 hours worth of content if you want to explore and find everything. But overall, the environmental design in Expedition 33 is on a whole different level from anything I've experienced before. Some of the scenery is breathtaking, and every screenshot feels like it could be a painting brought to life. I could spend hours just talking about the art direction. It's truly something special. Any issues I may have with Expedition 33 are insignificant compared to how this game made me feel. I do wish there was a minimap when traversing the overworld, but that's a tiny nitpick and didn't take away from my enjoyment in the slightest. But now I must talk about the music. Oh, the music. This game's soundtrack is amazing. From the opening moments, our ears are treated to one of the best OSTs I've ever heard. My two favorite tracks have to be Lumiere and Monoko's theme, but there are many others that are just awe-inspiring. Whenever I enter a new boss fight or area for the first time, I found myself looking forward to the next incredible musical composition. Words barely do it justice. I've experienced plenty of great soundtracks in my day, but this one struck a chord that lingered long after the music stopped. It turned every moment into something unforgettable. If I were going to sum this game up in a few words, it would have to be turn-based Dark Souls, because that's the vibe I got while playing it. Expedition 33 has several things in common with Souls-like games, and the world felt very much like the kind of dark fantasy that we would get in a FromSoft title. Many of the bosses look like they would have felt right home in Dark Souls or Elden Ring, and some of them were just as difficult, requiring you to parry their attacks perfectly or suffer a devastating defeat. Not to mention the expedition flags, which heal your party and respawn all enemies, are basically bonfires. You even have a limited healing item, which might as well be an Essence Flask. But let me make it clear, none of these comparisons are bad things. Through Elden Ring, I fell in love with Souls-like games, and the fact that Expedition 33 can stand alongside titles such as those is an impressive achievement. Especially when you learn that the game's core development team was comprised of a team of only around 30 people. If I were to play this game without any prior knowledge, you could have convinced me it was a AAA title made by hundreds, if not thousands, of developers. But nope, it's technically a AA game, and that makes it even more impressive that they were able to create such a compelling and fun world. And they're selling it for only $50? What? For the amount of game you get, plus the sheer quality, $50 is an absolute steal. It's also available on Game Pass, which is how I played it. So I did pay a little extra to get the Deluxe Edition upgrade. But even if I didn't have Game Pass, I would have happily paid full price. As of the time I'm recording this, the game has already sold over 3.3 million copies. And it shows no signs of slowing down. At this year's Game Awards, I fully expected to receive multiple nominations. And honestly, right now, I'm calling it. Expedition 33 is my pick for Game of the Year. Thankful Interactive has proven themselves to be an extremely competent team with a vision and passion that cannot be rivaled. And it's that passion that allowed them to create a piece of art like Expedition 33. And art is the only word I can think of that truly embodies what it was like to play this game. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is more than just a video game. It's a love letter to creativity, a statement against corporate mediocrity, and a shining example of what can be achieved when a small group of passionate individuals refuses to compromise on their vision. This game made me feel something I haven't felt in a long time while gaming. It reminded me of why I fell in love with video games in the first place. From the heart-pounding combat to the soul-stirring soundtrack, from the awe-inspiring visuals to the unforgettable story. This is an experience that will live in my memory forever. That's why I give Clair Obscur Expedition 33 a 10 out of 10. It is truly a masterpiece. And that wraps up my non-spoiler review of Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I hope you enjoyed hearing my thoughts as much as I enjoyed playing this incredible game. If you already played it, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Spoiler free, of course. If you haven't, I genuinely hope this convinced you to give it a shot. But thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more. But I hope you'll have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Clair, obscur, trouble, radieux.